Why get all your holiday decorations delivered through Instacart? Because maybe you only bought 2 wreaths but have 12 windows. Or maybe your toddler got very eager with the advent calendar. Or maybe the inflatable snowman didn't make it through the snowstorm. Or maybe the twinkle lights aren't twinkling. Whatever the reason, this season, Instacart's here for hosts and their whole holiday haul. Get decorations from the Home Depot, CVS, and more through Instacart and enjoy free delivery on your first 3 orders. Service fees and terms apply.
Hey, Prime members, have you heard? You can listen to your favorite podcasts ad-free? Good news! With Amazon Music, you have access to the largest catalog of ad-free top podcasts included with your Prime membership. To start listening, download the Amazon Music app for free or go to amazon.com/ad-free-podcast. That's amazon.com/ad-free-podcast to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads.
This is Fixing Famous People, the podcast where 2 reality television producers pitch solutions to save celebrities in dire straits.
But first, let's get to the Pre-Fixe, your weekly pop culture roundup. And that's how we'll begin, the wizard and I. Dominic?
They might have thought that was a commercial for
Did
Wicked.
I sounded exactly like Cynthia Erivo there, didn't I?
Pretty much, as far as I'm concerned, yeah.
Speaking of defying gravity, I am still flying high off of our Wicked screening. I'm not going to lie to you.
We did see Wicked last week. And
the listeners are salivating for what's about to happen right now. They have been messaging me every day. So
really? They did that anxious for our reviews?
They cannot wait to hear.
Really?
The general public, everywhere that I've gone since, they've been like, okay, so how was it? Like people that know that I've seen it were like, I need a full debrief on it. And so I feel that we need to actually give it its due right here, right now.
I mean, I have a 1-line review after seeing this movie. Something has changed within me. Some things are not the same.
Some things are not the same.
I loved it. We went to the DGA screening and Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande and Jonathan Bailey and, other semi-important people like the director and writer.
The person that wrote
there.
the entire thing. Yeah, whatever. Don't care. Yeah.
It was a delight. The audience we saw it with was eating it up like it was their last meal, honey. And it was good. It's really good.
Okay. My biggest critique is the lighting. And if that's my biggest critique, then you know that it's good.
I have to tell you, though, and all due respect to the Directors Guild, that theater is not where you want to see a movie.
Abysmal.
It's not. That's why everyone who's going, including you and my best friend Mark, everyone's going to like a Dolby Atmos theater.
I'm going to like basically 4D. Like they should be like throwing water on me at the end of this thing. Like I'm going in like the Dolby, Auditorium 1 at the Shops at Riverside, which is like where I saw Dune. And when I tell you, I felt like I was being chased by a sandworm whenever I was watching it. Like you see like
not the sandworms,
a concert amount of speakers hanging from the ceiling, and the picture, it couldn't be clearer. So if we were this hyped up in a theater that was like horribly tech, imagine what it'll be like when you go to IMAX or Dolby or something.
Oh, it's going to be gorgeous. The movie is sumptuously beautiful. It really is. Everything about the movie is great, but those 2 leads were like perfect casting.
Their chemistry is incredible throughout the entire movie.
You can't pick a favorite between the 2. It's very difficult. However, I don't know. Ariana Grande knocked me down. She knocked me down.
Everyone is like, there's no way that, like, when I tell them that she was incredible, they're like, I just don't believe you. I laughed at every single thing that she said throughout the entire movie. She's
hilarious. And what she does with her voice in this movie is remarkable. She holds her own with Cynthia Erivo for sure.
A Star is Born. Like, for real, I will be surprised if she is not truly nominated for an Oscar and if it's like not tooth and nail down to the wire for her to win it. For real.
I don't know when the review embargo is being lifted because the movie comes out Friday, but the Hollywood Reporter emailed their review and it is a rave, particularly for Cynthia Erivo, who they say does her best screen work to date. And
I must agree.
Disagree.
It was incredible. It is the musical. Defying Gravity is the end of the movie. All of you should have assumed that a year ago, like I did. I don't know how anyone thinks
It's Act 1 of the musical.
again, my biggest critique was that the lighting was realistic and not more fantastical like the rest of the movie was.
I bet you'll change your mind when you see it in a real theater this week.
Yeah, I guess I bet you I'm right too.
I will also tell you, I thought that this movie was 2 hours and 20 minutes. And then when we sat down, our friend told us that it was 2 hours and 40 minutes. And there was a moment where I was like, baby.
And I don't know why you thought it was going to not be that long. Like,
because I think 2 hours and 20 minutes is in fact long for a movie. When I already knew going into it that it was just the first act. It flies by. I swear to you, it flies by.
Like once they were in Oz and like at the Wizard, I was like, oh no, it's like over. And that was 2.5 hours into the movie.
Did you just say whensed?
No.
You didn't just say whensed.
I mean, I might be having a stroke, so
maybe you live in Oz.
Whensed
the wizard came.
Whensed. Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. It's so good.
Like, I'm walking around my house truly singing The Wizard and I. I'm singing Popular. I'm singing Defying Gravity. I mean, we haven't given this a glowing review to anything like this ever on the show. For real.
Especially not a joint one, I have to say. Like usually someone is a little bit opposed. I will say this though. Today I find out that on Christmas Day, there will be a series of Wicked sing-alongs in select cities and theaters. You have not heard about this?
No, I haven't.
Okay, I will text you when we're done with this. The news broke this morning that they are doing sanctioned Wicked cinema sing-alongs on Christmas Day.
They know that they're saving lives that way because I won't have to kill anyone.
So Jews, Muslims, atheists, I have news for you. Scrap the Chinese restaurant this year. You're going to Wicked. You're going to see Wicked and you're going to sing along with it.
I had no idea where you were going with that. I was like, what is happening?
Also, lapsed Christians will also be there.
Recovering Catholics. Yeah.
Or Christians who just want to do Jesus' birthday at a cinema. He's probably unopposed.
Who am I, why exclude, you know? The one other critique that people have been saying and being like worried about is like, is there too much CGI? And to that, I say no.
Not really.
There's sets. Like this isn't Endgame. Where it's like, oh, none of this is real. Like, right. You're like, it's not that. It isn't. I promise you it's not.
John Chu did a remarkable world building here. I mean,
correct.
It's not the Oz from Wizard of Oz, but it sort of is the Oz from they just did such a great job. They really did a great job.
You see every single dollar of this movie. Is what it is. You see where they spent all the money. You're like, oh, I'm looking at it right now.
I had one problem with the movie, which I'm not going to talk about.
No, we can't.
But we can collectively talk about it next month when everyone has seen it. There was one moment in the movie where I said,
And when you get there, you will know that it's the one that Dominick did. You will know what it is, and you'll be like, Dominick didn't like this.
If you've listened to me enough, you'll know when I'm in a mood, I don't like anything to take me out of it. And something took me out of it. It's very brief, but you'll definitely know when you see it.
But that's it. And that's not like worth saying the movie is bad over.
Right. For no reason, I'm just going to say it. Kathy Bates as Matlock appears in Oz out of absolutely nowhere.
And I'm
thinking, who made this decision?
Can you imagine? What would we do? We would have stood up and screamed bloody murder. Like we would have.
I think it should be in there, actually. I think in the director's cut, it should be
not
in there.
Kathy Bates' Matlock coming in.
Wait, I forgot to tell you, I canceled my Botox appointment this week because I was rehearsing for my holiday show this weekend. And in the show, I do a very brief impersonation of Nicole Kidman. Okay. And I need to contort my face in a certain way.
You need the full situation.
And so I was afraid that if I got Botox again, that my face would freeze. Basically, I called the place and I said, I can't get Botox today because I can't afford for my face to freeze while I'm impersonating Nicole Kidman.
You didn't say this to the person.
I certainly did. They said, excuse me? And then I replayed the sentence in my head and I said, that makes no sense. I understand it makes no sense. I should be getting double, but I can't. I can't do it.
Yeah, if anything, they should be like doing, what was it, Frozen? What were the levels like? Normal, like it was like normal, like a lot, and then Frozen was the
minimal, halfway, and concrete were the levels.
No, like Frozen was the biggest one, and we were like, Dominick, no, like not Frozen, like abort mission.
I think Nicole, I mean, obviously she gets injectables and she can do whatever she wants and looks beautiful.
But she still has, we're still giving emotions.
I think she gets those glass facials. So if anyone who listens knows about those glass facials, I think I might want one of those.
Interesting.
I'm also back on my neck thing, by the way, because, it was sort of tight for a while.
You need a neck lift?
Now I need it.
Okay.
I need it. And my friends, the McFadden twins, are trying to put me on a private jet to Mexico to get everything I need taken care of for like $400. But I'm afraid.
No, I don't like
to do
that. I don't like that, Dominic.
So stay tuned. That'll be first Q of next year. That'll be next year's drama. Speaking of drama, not really dramatic, Conan O'Brien is going to be hosting the Academy Awards. All right.
Safe.
Yeah, very.
Like, I bet it'll be good because he won't be like pulling bullshit. Actually, like,
you're right.
As much as we're like, annoyed, we like it when it's not someone stunty. We actually like it more. Me and we, as in me and you.
Yeah.
We actually will love this, but we're like annoyed because we can't make fun of it as much as we would with someone else.
Probably. I do like to be entertained though. Like when it was Alec Baldwin and Steve Martin, I loved that. I would have loved Steve Martin and Martin Short to host it.
Yeah, why aren't they doing it?
I don't know. I would also have been fine with Deadpool and Wolverine doing it like they were rumored to a couple of months ago.
But this is the thing, then they want like $1 million and the Oscars is like, no. You know what I mean?
It's also a bit of a commitment too that I get. A lot of the hosts will remark about it. It's like, it's not just like you walk in there and you're sort of reading off of a card. It's like,
no, and there's like all the dinners and the this and the lunches and then we have the promos and then we have to go do the thing. Like, it's a lot. It is an undertaking.
That part I could do. I could do the dinners and the lunches.
But I'm saying Ryan Reynolds is like, Mint Mobile isn't going to sell itself on this podcast and ads. So like, he has stuff to do. You know? Blake Lively isn't going to tank her own career again. You know what I mean? Like on her own. So someone messaged me, speaking of Blake Lively, that she did some corporate thing and was like really mean to everyone, wasn't on time. Like it was about her hair thing. Like someone else was doing a demo of the hair and she barely knew what to say. Like it was just all across the board. Yes, her hair company that was like supposed to come out in conjunction with that movie. And basically, like, she just, like, shit the bed yet again. And I got boots on the ground, and they were like, it was bad. So
someone was in that presentation or just knows about it?
They were there, yes, and saw it and was like, yowza.
Interesting. Speaking of, I have absolutely no segue for this. Dave Coulier of Full House fame has cancer.
Very upsetting.
Very upsetting. We love Dave Coulier. Whether or not he was the person in the Alanis Morissette song, will we ever actually know?
We know it's him. I think she's come out and said specifically it was him.
But I feel like every year another story is written. It's sort of like You're So Vain with Carly Simon. Like we know it's Warren Beatty, but then someone comes out and says, no, it's actually Kathy Bates from Matlock or something every year.
No, I think we know. Anyway, that's not what, I mean.
He has cancer. It's stage 3. He is going through treatment. Obviously, this podcast and everyone in humanity wishes Dave Coulier the very best and a swift recovery. So that happened. We found that out last week. This week, the story has changed a little bit because Aunt Becky might have someone joining her in the cultural doghouse this week.
I can't.
John Stamos shows up at Dave Coulier's house in quote unquote solidarity with him because Dave is undergoing treatment and has no hair. And John shows up wearing a bald cap and they take a series of photos and they post them online. When I tell you that the backlash to this friendly gesture was swift and ferocious, with the entire internet saying, John Stamos, shave your fucking head. This is so ridiculous. You're not in solidarity with him at all. Whew. I bet he did not see that coming at all. Dave Coulier has since responded and said, I hate all this negative energy. When my best friend came over to do something lovely, you know, he doesn't say you're all trash, but you can tell he's sort of thinking it. I think it would have been a real gesture if someone who's known for their head of hair shaved their head of hair. I see why people are like, this is the lamest shit we've ever seen before.
Yeah. But also like, I don't think John Stamos is like famous enough for us to like care that he did this. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if this was like Ariana Grande doing this, we would be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Who gives a fuck about John Stamos for real? John Stamos is playing a throuple member on Dr. Odyssey right now. Okay.
Is he?
Yes.
He also fathered 16 children in one episode on one of my favorite SVUs from several years back.
Yeah, I forgot.
Oh, it's fantastic. He's also a hot piece of ass, even though he's like 85 years old now. But
and a loser.
You know, I mean, I think people who loved Full House are looking at that and saying Uncle Jesse did not really like Dave Coulier. Speaking of people who may or may not like each other, I only watched clips of the Tyson Paul fight the following day from Netflix.
Sure.
I was disturbed watching it. I've never liked to watch boxing before.
I only watched like one fight beforehand that was two women, and the one woman's face started peeling off of her face, and I cried.
And that was me and you at the duplex soon after Labor Day, I think, right?
Yes. And I couldn't do, once her skin was separating, I was like, all right, it's time for me to go. Goodbye.
I mean, I've seen fights in my life. I would never tune into it. But anyway, long story short, Mike Tyson lost because he was too fucking old to be there anyway. The few clips I saw were like, I don't know much about boxing, but it didn't seem like he was trying very hard to knock out Mike Tyson. It's almost as though he logically sensed, I'm hitting an old man in the face.
And the whole point of this is to get viewers because it's Mike Tyson. Sorry.
And their point was to get money. And even the guy who lost, Mike Tyson, got 20 million. 108 million people across the globe watched this.
They watched the spinning wheel is what they watched because it like didn't work. Like I don't want to hear for one whole fucking second about how many people watched it. Blah blah. A bunch of people were stuck on stupid, to quote Deanna Chang. Yeah. That's what they were. I fucking hate this shit. And now I'm mad. Whenever they're like,
what else? What did that happen to last year? Oh, it was the Love is Blind.
The Love is Blind finale, and now they're doing it with freaking Beyonce on Christmas Day. You think that's gonna go well? Guess what? And they're going to be like, 120 million people watched it. I'm like, watch their frozen TV screen is what they watched. So I don't want to hear it about like, oh, look at the record numbers they got of people when it didn't even fucking work.
I got to say, high five to the gays of the world for trying to take over Christmas Day this year. Apparently, we've already had it. Beyonce's performing wicked sing-alongs throughout the country. We're like, happy birthday, who? It's Pride on December 25th. Fuck it.
They're like, happy birthday to a gay man. Jesus Christ.
What? Oh, a child of rape.
Dominick.
Rebecca said that. Rebecca Bregman said it. We'll give you her home address if you want it. Scandal. Hugh Jackman and Sutton Foster. It is released this week that the reason Hugh Jackman got a divorce was because of what was apparently the worst kept secret on Broadway, was that Hugh and Sutton had been having an affair for quite some time. And when I heard this, the first thing I thought was, maybe this is the reason that Hugh is not hosting the Academy Awards with Ryan Reynolds. Maybe it's just maybe it feels a little bit dirty.
No, that does make sense. I was waiting for a joke, but I think that you are right.
No, I'm serious. I think that was it.
I was getting ready for like something ridiculous to come out of your mouth, but you are correct. That is, I think.
Well, because he would only host with Kathy Bates in her role as Matlock. The second thing that I thought was, I know we're classifying this as a scandal, but there's something about a sex scandal on Broadway, which isn't very sex scandal-y.
Yeah.
It's like, even though Hugh Jackman is, to most people, a slab of man beef, there's just something about him cheating with Sutton Foster that isn't as much scandalous as it is. Gay. I don't know.
Yeah, there's something very gay about it. Yes, correct.
John Krasinski, he of The Office, after we posted our broadcast last week, he was named People's Sexiest Man Alive.
Speaking of people being upset.
I mean, is John Krasinski sexy? Sure. Yeah. I mean,
okay.
We, of course, hope that funny people are sexy as we are. We also hope too.
He's not ugly at all. Like it's
I mean, he's an attractive guy, but this was the year for them to give this to Jonathan Bailey.
100%. And as two people that have been in the room with him while he was dressed as Tiger King / Siegfried from Siegfried and Roy, when I tell you that, like, regardless of that, we were both like on our knees, like, oh my God, this is the most beautiful person.
We were, on our knees indeed.
The entire theater was salivating at his beauty.
It was, if you can picture, he walked out and it was 500 people pleasuring themselves, people of all genders. It was
every
nonstop.
age bracket, generation, the two lesbian moms that were next to me, which one complimented my laugh, never forget. That she said it was great to watch this movie.
Do you remember that? I didn't. Yeah. How did you know they were lesbian moms?
Because they were two moms with a daughter, and they kept saying,
I thought maybe they were scissoring and breastfeeding during the performance. Like, how would you even know this information?
I just watched them. They were like doing the most. And so I just saw that I just saw the dynamic. But like, even they were like, oh my God, look at this beautiful man.
So remember 30 seconds ago, we were saying that the Menendez brothers were going to get broken out of jail thanks to Kim Kardashian and Ryan Murphy. Well,
who isn't a licensed lawyer, by the way, who is not on did not pass the bar. May I just say?
She didn't pass the bar.
No, she's not a lawyer.
Well, her efforts are going to be trampled upon because then election day happened. There's a new DA coming in to Los Angeles. The last bastion of hope was that maybe Gavin Newsom would grant clemency. And he said this week he's not going to do that. He's going to leave this up to the incoming district attorney. The incoming district attorney has told everyone to hold their horses, as my grandmother would say.
Oh, love that saying.
This is not even a done deal. He's like, I'm not basing any decision I make on a miniseries, which he's not wrong about that. But I do hope he looks at the facts because the world is different now than it was when these gentlemen were incarcerated. And hopefully he gives them a fair shake. But we'll see. I mean, the rejoicing, everyone thought they'd be out by Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Definitely not happening. Definitely not happening.
It's like hard anymore. Even like Adnan, remember Serial? He like got out and then they put him back in jail and then he tried to get out again. And then they put him back. Like you just basically fight with the system for the right. It's like so fucked up. But like, even if they like disprove stuff, they can still, there's still all these ways that they can just like throw you right back in jail.
On the lighter end of things this week, did you hear about this fake feud between Lizzo and Lana Del Rey?
No.
Okay.
What?
So up on social media, there pops up a conversation between Lizzo and Lana Del Rey. Lizzo posts on Lana's page, "I'd like to see you back on the charts."
Slam!
Lana responds,
"Oh my God,
I would love
looking
to see you in a on a treadmill." Lizzo responds, "I hope that alligator eats your ass." And Lana responds, "You'd know about eating, Biggie."
Oh my God.
Millions of people react and engage with this post until it finally comes out that it was fake. I don't know if Lana released anything, but Lizzo definitely did.
Is this like other people saying that they're them?
It's one of those fake news sites. Remember earlier this year on Poo Crave, which is a ripoff on Twitter of Pop Crave?
Don't you dare say Poo Crave is a real thing.
It is a real, that's where the tweet came through that Justin Timberlake, they found Molly and Truvada, which is PrEP in his system when they pulled him over. It was one of those accounts that did this.
Okay,
I know it's terrible.
I'm coming down.
Impersonate anybody.
I'm coming down on it. No, I'm coming down on it, but you do your jokes first.
There are no jokes. There are no jokes.
I mean, that's fucking hilarious. If only they would do that.
Hilarious. Yeah. It's hilarious. And like, we're at danger every moment of like us having a nuclear explosion somewhere because of fake news and misinformation. But when it's Lizzo versus Lana and they're talking about each other's weight and
fat and you
husbands,
suck.
It's gotta, I give it a pass.
Incredible. It's incredible. Jokes on all you wannabe Entertainment Tonight correspondents that have a TikTok that think that because you saw a screenshot of a comment on the internet that means that it's real. Do your motherfucking research. I'm coming for everyone today. I don't know why. But like, do your fucking research for 2 seconds and you could Google that this isn't real.
Wow. You really came down on them.
No, I'm like Matt. I don't like that everyone just thinks that like, I'm going to repeat whatever someone else said. And that's like a news story. No, it's not. Anyway, sorry. I'm done yelling.
No, I'm going to lighten your mood really quick. The Ellie Saab fashion show this week, apparently, I guess just to go over celebrating the 25 years of the brand. Celine Dion
when
performed.
You call on me.
There's a bone to pick here. There is. I don't know if it's a legitimate. Yeah, there is a little bone, a little wing bone to pick.
Dude, I love a chicken wing.
I've never seen this happen before. Celine Dion lip synced at this performance. I've never seen that happen.
But only for some of it. Some of it you could tell that she was really singing.
And she can do, by the way, whatever she wants. She has sung live enough that she could lip sync like all of her actual in-person dialogue for the rest of her life if she wants. She's a queen around here. But it was mildly shocking. Some people on the internet gave her a hard time for it. She's someone who never does that, at least that I've not seen. No. And it was weird to see her do it.
She just wouldn't sing back in the day. She'd be like, "Oh, my voice is giving out, sorry."
Right.
Like, as you see in the documentary, she like wouldn't lip sync. But I will say, because I was like, is she lip syncing like 100% right? But then towards the end of both songs, she then started singing because she did her own little runs and shit, or pre-recorded. But like,
I didn't see that part of it.
No, I watched the whole thing. So it was, there were parts where she was lip singing at the beginning of each song. But she's saying the power of love. I'm so sorry to say. Have any one of you these fucking little teeny... now you're making me more mad.
Your ears are so ground this week.
Have Sabrina Carpenter come and try to fucking sing the power of love. She can't.
Leave Sabrina Carpenter alone. Get back away from her. Go after Megan Thee Stallion or someone.
But
go after Kathy Bates.
Kathy Bates can't sing the power of love. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're not talking like her singing like, oops, I did it again. She's singing like one of the best ballads to ever exist.
I want to read a sentence to you now that I've waited.
Will this upset me?
Several days. I doubt this will upset me.
Now I'm really treading with caution. Go ahead.
In his new memoir, Growing Up Urkel, Jaleel White claims he was told to adjust his Steve Urkel costume on Family Matters due to his visible bulge.
I mean, the fact that we've waited this long to find this out.
Ooh.
Like, not even my nemesis, Diane Sawyer, wouldn't squeak this out. Well, I guess he would never have been interviewed by Diane Sawyer. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have one weird E-News interview with him where he said this.
I need someone to come forward and verify that this is true, that he wasn't just putting a sock down there. Let's guess. Who has had sex with Urkel?
Who has?
Listeners, if you've had sex with Jaleel White, please come forward and confirm that Bulgegate is an actual thing.
I mean, they were like up to his nipples. So like, I do believe it.
I mean, the costume included a camel toe.
Yeah. A moose knuckle, if you will.
He's also a hot piece of ass now. Have you seen Jaleel White?
Yes, I have.
Woo! I think he sort of turned into an elevated version of Stefan Urkel, for those of you who watched Family Matters, as I did.
Speaking of memoirs.
Yeah.
Dominic, you had the great pleasure.
How are we this far into it and we haven't discussed it yet?
You had the great pleasure of reading the Cher memoir early.
I did. I was thrilled to guest on the Glamorous Trash podcast this week, discussing the Cher memoir that I was able to get. I was sworn to secrecy that I was able to get a week in advance, and I plowed right through it. And it is a masterwork. Period. End of story. It is part history book, part memoir. You will laugh. You will cry. You will sweat. You will rejoice. It is so chock full of detail and stories that even the sheriest of superfans has never heard before. It answered every question and every gap in the timeline that you had about Cher. And it's great. And it's only part one. And I cannot wait for part two. I truly cannot wait.
Will she talk about Moonstruck? She has to, right?
Oh, yeah. That's the whole second half of the book is going to be
Moonstruck and her kids.
70s, 80s, 90s today. Yeah. It's going to be, she will in depth talk about Moonstruck. It was great. And please head over. I was on the pod with Chelsea Devantez and T-Mom Z, Chelsea's mother. It was
a meeting of the minds, the two of you, by the way.
It was an absolute delight.
Yes.
And the book is great, so go buy it. In fact, today, Wednesday, the day that this podcast drops, I am going to a taping of Live with Kelly and whoever her current co-host is. It's her husband now,
Mark.
Right? Live with Kelly and Mark, where Cher will be a guest. So that show will air on Friday. So watch Live with Kelly on Friday, and maybe you'll see my friends Mark and Vinny and I in the audience.
Wow.
Oh my God. Our queen.
Sean Hickey, friend of the pod, got to meet Cher. Did you see the picture of him shaking hands with her?
No.
Yes. I said, I can't process this. And he said, same.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Because she's making the rounds this week for the book.
Good for her.
She's doing Kelly Clarkson this week. She's everywhere. She did
Kelly
CBS. She did a great
song?
CBS Sunday Morning. Kelly is now on DJ Play a Christmas Song, Cher's Christmas hit from last year. So they will most likely sing that.
Do it together. That's fun.
Which, by the way, if I'm wrong, I'm fine with it, but I'm fairly certain this will be the first time the two of them are singing that in a room together. I mean, when you listen to the song, it's lovely.
No, of
it's
course.
the single, and then Kelly recorded a voice memo and someone threw it into the song.
Sure. She just like fired it off in the car. Yeah.
God bless everybody. I don't remember this meme from when Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise got divorced, but somebody posted a meme of Nicole
when she's
Kidman
like in the street. Like screaming.
Rejoicing.
Oh yeah, I could draw it from memory. Are you kidding me?
I don't remember. She this week in a random interview clarified that was a still from a movie that she was in, and she absolutely did not take to the street and rejoice.
But see, there you go. Every single one of us believed that was what it was.
I mean, but you would have rather lived with this faux information.
Oh, 100%. I'm upset that you ruined this. Yeah. I'm mad at you, so it's fine.
She also shaded Martin Scorsese and talked about the amount of movies that are female-centered versus male-centered. And she's like, I would love to do a movie with Martin Scorsese, but he only does movies about men that are for men.
Yeah.
You know,
Sam,
I don't think Nicole and Martin Scorsese, well, I don't think they're feuding, but he's like, hi, have you seen Killers of the Flower Moon, which got a Best Actress nomination for someone. So
it's still a vehicle for Leonardo DiCaprio.
I would love for them to have, not only do I want Nicole Kidman and Martin Scorsese to have a fight, I want them to get in the ring on Netflix. That's what I want to
that's
happen.
the next,
I want them to slap
They
the shit
basically
out of
are
each
the
other.
same. It's like Martin Scorsese.
Yeah, their age difference is the same as Mike Tyson and Jake Paul.
It's like,
let's do it. Do it for charity. Okay, so we're going to report on this story, even though we don't know 100% which side of it is accurate. But a story came in yesterday that Pete Davidson, who we had talked about the previous week about being like, he started taking off his tattoos and he'd been through rehab and he looked and sounded great, was back in rehab because I guess he had dated someone from The Bachelor.
Okay, that's your world, not mine.
But you're on that text, aren't you? That he
No,
dated someone from The
I'm saying
Bachelor?
I don't know any of these people from The Bachelor. So
I'm just questioning, I don't know who she is either. But then that person, so this woman that he was supposedly dating was a villain from The Bachelor. I did not watch this last round. Her name is Maria, I'm sure I'm saying it wrong, but Georgas or Georgas. Anyway, she then releases a statement today saying the story about Pete having a fling with me and needing to go to rehab afterwards is a complete fabrication. I'm friends with his sister and he's been sober for months. How does stuff like this get printed? Blah, blah, blah. But still, as of the time of this recording, no word from Pete Davidson.
Interesting.
I have to say, I always rather like when a celebrity doesn't respond to something. When it's false. Like, you know, it depends on what sort of damage control you need, but I love when they say, fuck it, I'm not going to respond.
Like eventually
to
he's going to go to like a pizza parlor and we're going to see a picture of him with a pizza and he's walking out and it's like, okay, well, he's not in rehab. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't need to be like, I'm not in rehab. The son, like, you know what I mean?
Right. I'm not
just
in rehab.
Go show up
I'm just picking up a meatball parm. I'm not in rehab at all. You made a mistake. You must
that
have
is my
Google Earthed
rehab.
me incorrectly.
Yeah.
But Pete, we hope that you are well and that this Maria person is the one telling the truth.
I know. I also don't like that. Smells fishy to me on her end, which I don't, you know what I mean?
You think that she shouldn't have said anything?
Or like she was like putting pictures out there, pulling a Kim Kardashian whenever she wasn't famous and was like dating, what's his name? Nick Lachey. And then they walk out of the movie theater and there's like 9 million paparazzis waiting for them. Like, why do I feel like that's?
I don't even remember a time in history when Kim wasn't famous. I'm either that old or I've smoked too much weed that I just can't even look back that far. She's been here forever.
It's giving me that. But do I have any basis to say that that's real? No, but that's what I feel.
That's why we reported both sides of the story because we want to make sure
we're such balanced and unbiased news network.
We are fair and balanced. Lindsay Lohan has another Christmas movie coming out on Netflix shortly. It premiered in Los Angeles this week. She is looking so fantastic. Obviously, she's in the throes of doing Freaky Friday 2, or is it Parent Trap 2?
Freakier Friday, yes.
Yes.
It's called Freakier Friday.
Anyway, this Netflix movie is called Our Little Secret. Sounds
Love
adult.
That. Can't wait to watch it with Hassan's mom, is what I can't wait.
I love that you're
she's a Lindsay Lohan
Lilo's biggest fan.
Stan, like big stan, you know? So I can't wait to watch it.
Jessica Simpson, who we spoke about recently, we tried to fix her, apparently is having very big marriage woes. I can't remember if we spoke about this last week, but Jessica's confidants are coming forward to saying she is not in a good place and she is heartbroken because it looks like her storybook marriage to Eric Johnson is over. Now, I'm not sure how this affects the pitches that we made to fix her last week, but...
Well, I added a section of the glossary where we have like people that have done our advice, people that have listened, like other people that have taken the advice. And now I did advice rejected, which is what she did because we were like, don't do music. And she was like, I'm going to do music again. And we were like, no, like mere days after our episode came out, she was like, I think I'm going to sing again. And we were all like, please don't.
Christopher, did you watch The Golden Bachelorette this season?
I sure did.
Well, it finale'd this week.
Yes.
Joan, I did not realize until I read the article about it that Joan made history by going to having one man meet her family, and she was so sure she loved him that she went to the other dude and said, "You don't need to meet my family. I know I'm in love with this other man.
See you later." And he was devastated.
I've heard. That's terrible.
Devastated. And apparently they're not getting married. Or that it's like
already?
Over. They like apparently were like together, but now I don't think, again, Dominick, you used to work on this show. They have yet to ever figure this out. When these people then go and are like, we're going to be together, they then have no way to pair their lives together because they are from two different sides of the country. Yeah. And they never speak about this in the show. That is the problem. Like when you're like meeting the families, or even before that, even like early on, it'd be like, well, where do you live? What do you do for work? Or are you retired? Blah, blah. Would you move? Should I move? Like who, what, where, when, why, and how would this work together? And like the fact that that's not a thing that we get on these shows nowadays, to me, is a humongous setback.
I think when you sign up for the show, you're so sort of into it and turned on at the possibility of this actually happening that you're like, well, if it's true love, I'll do whatever it takes.
Sure.
And then when you find it, you're like, no, I won't.
And you hear them repeating that 9 million times, the same talking point of like,
yeah,
well, I'm here to find love and love is everlasting and blah, whatever. And they all are in this goo goo gaga world. And I'm like, yeah, but like, okay, then when you go meet their family, like, can one daughter that signed the dad up for this fucking show be like, would you move here, Joan? And then just see what she says? No.
What if Joan and Jerry just got back together?
Don't even say that to me.
Why? You didn't, because he's not good enough for her.
No, she's like, I don't know. I had so much faith in the golden ones, and now I'm souring a little bit.
Last story before, I know you have a Dennis Rodman story you want to tell, and then after that, we'll get into the fix. This week we are fixing Miss Felicity Huffman,
the original coiner of Ruh Roh.
That's right. The pioneer, Felicity
the pioneer.
Huffman. Drew Barrymore strikes again. I love when she gets so close and inappropriate with her guests that they're just like, back off. It's my favorite part of that show.
To quote my father, cruising for a bruising is what she is.
She leans over to Martha Stewart and she's rubbing her shoulder and she goes, what makes you all soft and gooey? Like, meaning what turns you on, who you're looking for. And Martha basically pushes Drew off her and goes, sorry, you're the wrong gender.
I, of all the people to do this to, like of all the people, because like I've been in Martha Stewart's presence before, like, and when I tell you she is one beautiful, like stunning.
Yeah, she appears to be. Even I don't think I've ever seen her in person, but she looks gorgeous on camera.
I've been 3 feet away from her. Stunning. And you have to remind yourself, this is like an 80-year-old woman, and she looks 50. Like,
did you fuck her? Are you about to make an announcement?
No.
Okay.
Beautiful. And she is warm. Like, she's not cold, but she has that air of like when we saw J-Lo at Unstoppable, and I was like, this is a bona fide superstar among literal pieces of shit normies. Like, you would never in your life feel that you could reach over and rub her shoulder, even if you were Drew Barrymore. So the fact that she felt that she took the liberties was bold. Bold. But yeah, no, I loved it. And Drew's flirting with disaster on this show. Like, she might need to get fixed because she's putting her hands all kinds of places that they're not supposed to be.
Tell us your Dennis Rodman story.
This is from Anonymous.
Yeah.
Huge fan. I was enjoying your Dennis Rodman episode and I remembered my Dennis story and thought you both might enjoy. I was living in Huntington Beach at the time. He was living in Newport Beach and on multiple occasions saw him smack a waitress on the ass or flick a quarter at them as a tip. In fact, he flicked one at me at the bar I worked at. Lo and behold, I was drinking and smoking off a cold. It was my 20s and I truly believed it helped. LOL. In Newport Beach, and he was simultaneously getting a tattoo in the parlor located behind the bar I was at with my boyfriend and bestie. His enormous purple truck with his face airbrushed on the hood was unlocked out front of the bar. I thought, why not jump in and smoke a cigarette in the truck? My boyfriend begged me to get out, so I did, but then I snuck back in minutes later and put my cigarette out on his dashboard. I would never do this now, but it felt amazing in my 20s to do something kind of shitty to someone who treated waitresses so shitty. Love you guys so much and look forward to you all the time. Hearts.
You're not going to say the name of the person who wrote it?
No, it's anonymous. But someone, when I was on KKC, someone also told me that he drinks at a bar alone. in somewhere in like either Newport Beach or wherever that is. And Kate was like, oh no, I know exactly the bar that he, like, if you want to find him, if you're with me, we can go
on the ground.
We can go there ourselves because we know everyone in Orange County knows exactly where he goes. And he just drinks alone in a bar every day. Isn't that sad?
No, because you're talking to someone who goes to the duplex every day.
you're speaking my language.
Speaking of the duplex and me doing stupid things in bars, tickets to my holiday show are currently on sale. We begin in really just a few days on December 1st in San Francisco. The holidays are here, honey. Please come to Dom We Now Are Gay Apparel. I'm hitting 10 cities this year between the 1st and the 22nd. You can go to my website, domandterry.com, to find out what those cities are and to buy tickets. Speaking of the holidays and gifting your loved ones, we have 2 suggestions for you. We have candles out right now, which you're going to want to burn the whole holiday season.
Not only do we have our Long Island Iced Tree candles coming back, but obviously if you listened the other week to our very funny bonus episode, we have Dominick.
Subway dust. We also found out today that these candles are 100% going to sell out. So if you want the Subway dust candles, which come as a candle with actual subway dust that it looks like Marilyn Monroe might have sprinkled on these candles herself, please go to the Fixing Famous People Facebook page and follow the links and
we'll put that in our story. Members. We'll put it in our story. Go to Wax Cabin, at Fixing Famous People, and get ready for some unhinged photos of Dame Erin Bagwell, the Buffalo Medium, with the Subway dust candle. You're not even ready for these, and they're going to be all over our Instagram.
And one other gift idea, the Patreon for Fixing Famous People.
Recently, we've been inducted into the Patreon Ambassadors program that we are taking advantage of because so many of you have signed up, and because we are a thriving Patreon, they have reached out to us and said, come join this. And we have said, okay.
You've made us royalty.
Thank you. Yes. And so we now have the ability to gift the Patreon to people. So if you want to give maybe someone that's like, you've been like, please listen to this podcast. There's so many people that have been like, I've bullied all of my family members into listening to you. Gift them the Patreon. Send them the link and say, give this to me as a gift.
Yes.
You know, if you've been wanting to sign up for the Patreon and you haven't, send this link to them. It is patreon.com/fixingfamouspeople/gift. I will put it in the show notes and we will put it on our Instagram. We will put it all over social media. If you're like, should I get the Patreon? Make your husband buy you this Patreon for Christmas. Do you need another sweater? You don't. Do you need socks? No. Like, you know, like the family member that's going to get you something stupid that you throw away.
You don't get the global warming. You don't need a swetter or socks. You need
you
this
have
podcast.
them. Yeah. You need our Patreon. Thank you so much. Now I'm screaming at them. Now I'm screaming at the listeners. Dear God. But we will put that all over our social media. Please buy because they're selling out. I'll tell you that much, the candles. Okay.
And if you are an Apple, what do we call them? They're Apple subscribers?
Apple subscriptions. If you do not know, you might not have any idea what Patreon is or not care to learn. If you have an iPhone, get on the Apple podcast app and you can, for $4.99 a month, you can get all of our a la carte episodes.
And on today's a la carte, for those of you who are hopping over, we're going to dive into I'm still mystified. Alec Baldwin's movie Rust is premiering in Poland within the next few days. This film was completed. Helena Hutchins' mother not happy about it at all, even though her daughter's husband is a producer on the film. So we're going to talk about that.
I'm further going to scream about that.
If you haven't heard enough of Chris being annoyed, come to the a la carte.
What's wrong with me?
You're just gravelly today. I don't know. Your gears are ground. We'll also talk about who's replacing Hoda Kotb on the Today Show and Snoop Dogg's new jewelry line. And
beautiful.
Kenya Moore. Did you see this? Kenya Moore issued an apology
screaming about it. Yes.
We'll scream more over there. And then right now we're going to hear some vital messages before you all get to hear us fix Felicity Huffman. Love you.
Ruh Roh.
You know that feeling when your favorite brand really gets you? Deliver that feeling to your customers every time. Memorable moments like these are key to building your business and your brand. Klaviyo turns your customer data into real-time connections across AI-powered email, SMS, and more, making every moment count. so you can continue to build smarter, more meaningful relationships with your customers. Build smarter digital relationships with your customers and make every moment count with Klaviyo. Learn more at klaviyo.com/BFCM.
Designed for working professionals, Georgetown's Executive MBA features a hybrid format that delivers community on campus and convenience at home. Classes are held in person 1 weekend per month on our Washington, D.C. campus and 1 Saturday per month online, helping you balance work, life, and career advancement. Plus, you'll have the opportunity to participate in an international consulting project abroad with a global client. You'll get to choose from a variety of electives to customize your curriculum based on your interests and career goals. And enjoy the access only Georgetown provides in D.C., with connections to industry experts, global leaders, and influential institutions. It's time to expand your understanding of how globalization shapes both global and local business strategy. Ready to build your legacy as a business leader? Earn Georgetown's Executive MBA. Explore the program at msb.georgetown.edu/EMBA-podcast.
Dominick, do you remember when I went with Katie and Aaron to Toronto and we went to drag brunch and had the best time? And I told you I was dancing
I remember
to Bad
vividly.
Romance by Lady Gaga.
Yes.
Well, we have the one and only person that perpetuated all of this and made me sing many Celine Dion songs to the whole crowd. You know her and love her from Canada's Drag Race Season 3 and one of the best queens in Toronto, Miss Moço. Welcome to the show.
Applause, applause, applause. Thank you. Let me just take it in.
Oh, it's thrilling. I am a Drag Race stan, and it is thrilling to have you here. You are the first drag racer to appear on this podcast, and we are honored and thrilled that you're
Correct.
here.
How exciting. Well, I believe in things just happening for a reason. And the fact that Chris was at my drag brunch and then we start chatting and then this had come up. And I think I've only done one podcast before. And I felt like that first time I was nervous like I was when I got a Drag Race. And I feel like I bombed it. So this is my chance to really shine.
This is time for you to lip sync for your life. Hello.
Our listeners cannot see this, but you have the best looking shot of the three of us, and Chris and I are here every week.
Our professionals.
You look like a professional podcaster, and we look.
There's background lighting. There's
it's gorgeous. And
listen, I'm a drag queen. I'm a drag queen who makes content. I'm prepared to film. And when I found out I didn't have to be in drag for this, I still wanted to give a little bit. So let me give you my pink background lighting for you.
Is that a good day for you if someone says you don't have to show up in drag? Is that a relief?
Are you kidding me? Absolutely.
No, he was like, I'm sure that drag is important for this. I was like, there is no video for this. He was like, I can do whenever you want. He was like, I couldn't be more available. Yeah.
I'm actually not available for about 3 months if you need me in drag, but I can do it in 2 days. Sure, if I don't have to be in drag. Yeah, it's a relief. It definitely.
All right. Well, today we are here to fix Felicity Huffman. At the top of every broadcast, we play the middle name game. So I'm going to ask Miss Moço and Chris what they think Felicity Huffman's middle name is. We'll get a little bit of background. She was born December 9th, 1962 in Bedford, New York. She is 61 years of age. Felicity and Huffman are her legal first and last names. What is Felicity Huffman's middle name? I will tell you this, not a run-of-the-mill name.
Okay.
It's going to take some luck.
Okay.
Or however you want to deduce.
The first thing that came to me was Alan, which I just don't think is correct.
Interesting.
And then I got to Sharon, and I'm like, is it Sharon? And now I'm at Jean, and so I'm going to say, but you're saying it's not Jean, so I think it's Sharon.
Sharon? Okay.
Yeah.
My first thought was like a Barbara or an Anne, and then you said it's not run of the mill. So the name Veronica has landed.
Beautiful guess.
Felicity Veronica Huffman.
Oh, I bet she wishes that was it. Not that this is an ugly name. Neither of you are right. I'm assuming, well, maybe it's not a family name. Felicity Kendall Huffman. Felicity Kendall Huffman.
Kendall. Oh, I
Oh
didn't
my
know.
God.
FKH, which sounds like an Eastern European airport code, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
Oh my God, hold on. What did you say? FKH?
Yeah.
Okay, for a second I was like, if you unscramble, it's JFK, but no.
Yeah, no,
And that she shot him.
This is the Zodiac. It's like the Zodiac. Felicity Huffman's the Zodiac killer.
By the way, she would have been.
Did we just solve a crime?
Wait, someone call Netflix.
We go that one that just came out where they like absolutely tell you who it is. I'm like, they are wrong.
Now, in my 5 minutes of research, obviously the masses, including us, know her primarily from her role as Lynette Scavo from the 8-season wonder Desperate Housewives.
Yeah.
That was my first real introduction to her, but I forgot that she was on a well-received but not watched by me sitcom called Sports Night, which I think is where other people may have known her first. And I believe that she actually won a Golden Globe for Best Actress in a Comedy for that. Again, it's a Golden Globe.
Golden Globe.
Remember, they did nominate Heather Locklear for Melrose Place. So not that wasn't an auspicious performance, but this is not. Stella Adler did not go to the Golden Globes.
No. Is she like an anchor? I feel like she's like a sports reporter.
I think she was
like
a sports anchor.
With like a suit. Yeah, I feel like I love that. I love her in that.
And for people who love that sort of thing and that sort of show, meaning sports,
yeah,
it was sort of critically revered, that show. But I didn't know anything about her until this. And again, in the 5 minutes of research, she was primarily a stage actress before Sports Night and is a muse of playwright David Mamet's and has appeared in many, many of his productions.
Wasn't she in Transamerica, right?
Which was after, well, actually, it was during Desperate Housewives.
Yeah. We're going to talk about that one.
Oh, we sure are, because it's, and Chris and I have talked about this on this podcast numerous times about how very quickly things went from being okay to what the fuck were we thinking? Pop culture, particularly when it comes to trans people, because you don't want to put Felicity Huffman in the same category as Jeffrey Tambor, but she's kind of got to go in that same box now, like in the what were we thinking? Great job at the time, but what were we thinking? Mm-hmm. But let's go back to Desperate Housewives for a moment, because I remember her being the one who was nominated and winning all the awards for that show. And to me, when I watched it, of the four, she was like, as far as showiness, she was number 4 for me. Like I thought
she wasn't
ranked them. She was last. So I was always shocked when she would win.
Well, she was always in like a button-down shirt and like a cami. Like she was always in like I'm just a working mom, soccer mom.
Right.
Versus like the other 3 were getting like banged out like left, right, and center from like every right. Like, do you know what I mean? Like Eva Longoria was always like being dangled from a crane, like while she's getting fucked by Jesse Metcalf from behind. Do you know what I mean? Like,
is this why
she's like, what am I gonna do? You know what I mean? Right? Like,
is this why the homosexuals didn't relate to her? Because she wasn't giving us that glamour, that beauty. She was always on my bottom of the list of the cast too. And also Eva Longoria was never being nominated. It was always the others.
Right.
And then,
right. I don't know. I mean, as gay people, we wanted to be Eva Longoria because Jesse Metcalf was fucking her. I mean, it wouldn't have even mattered what the character did. Just that thing alone was why she got our attention.
Yeah.
I loved all 4 of them, but she was just the one that was the most. Her character, I guess, was the most boring.
She was the Charlotte. She was the Charlotte. Not that they all 4 are those 4, but like she was the Charlotte.
I mean, but kind of though, when you think about it, because Terry Hatcher like was as annoying as Carrie Bradshaw, lovable but annoying, but also driving the series. I guess Marsha Cross would have been
Miranda.
Yes, she would have been. Yeah, she would have had to be.
Right.
Was
she Miranda?
Brie Vandekamp was it.
Yeah.
I loved her. I mean, we wanted to be Gabrielle, but we were also Brie Vandekamp.
Yeah. It was the biggest show on television. Like it was a juggernaut. Like, and again, Dominic, it's the reason that either of us have careers, basically.
Or are gay too. Well, actually, I was a full-grown adult actually at that point, but you were not at that time.
Yeah, but I'm saying like Bravo exists because Desperate Housewives was a show. You know what I mean? Like, period. The entire series is modeled after that show.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah. Yeah,
The
in a
reason
way,
they hold,
for sure.
The reason they hold something is because in the opening of the show, they all were holding the apple. Because
Yes,
they were all
it is.
Eve with the apple.
Absolutely.
Trailblazers. Can I say,
Yeah.
I was so obsessed with this show. I was buying the box sets after every season. And as the seasons progressed, like by season 5, when it was season finale and I had to wait that like entire devastating year or whatever until the next season, I would go and rewatch like season 1 to 5 that just ended in anticipation of season 6 starting. And then season 6 would end and they would do it all over again. I was obsessed.
That is dedication. I'm clutching my pearls here because Desperate Housewives premiered 20 years ago, 2004.
It was a humongous show.
Because I remember that being on at the same time that Friends ended, and thinking to myself, oh, good, this is something kitschy that we can like sink our claws into that will, not that Friends was the kitschiest show, but it was just like, sort of like Warm Soup, Friends, like you'd watch and be like, oh, this feels good. And this felt very good, but with a little edge to it. It was so great. It really was.
Yeah.
And such Golden Girls energy because Mark Cherry was one of the producers from Golden Girls. And he sort of brought that humor, that style of humor to the show. I wonder what he's up to these days, Mark Cherry. Because he was around for a while. You don't hear from him much anymore.
No, probably counting all of his money.
Back to Felicity Kendall Huffman.
JFK.
JFKFH. This is still at a time in television history where if you're on television and you get a big movie role, it means something. Now, of course, Nicole Kidman's in everything on television and cinema, so no one's actually working but her.
Did you see that they were like, why are you in so many things? And she's like, I give so many people jobs. And I'm like, can't argue with her there.
You really can't.
Like, you really can't. She's like, this gets made because I'm Nicole Kidman, you idiots.
I'm a small nation. The GDP of Nicole Kidman is more than whatever country your family is from, is what she's trying to say. So back it up.
Oh my God, stop bringing up other people other than Felicity, because now I could go on a whole thing of Nicole.
Please come back. Just come back.
We'll get back to Felicity.
We talk about her every episode. Just come back and we'll do a whole episode on her.
So anyway. Felicity achieves television actress gold and gets a really marquee role as a trans person in the movie Transamerica. And the plot of the movie is that she finds out that before she transitioned, she fathered a son. And it's basically a road movie. And, you know, the son is meeting his biological father, but now his mother, played by Felicity Huffman, which at the time was heralded and lauded as groundbreaking and fantastic and all this stuff. And not that it wasn't, and not that her performance wasn't wonderful, but looking back, we don't do
hard.
That now. We don't put non-trans performers in the roles of trans people, particularly with scenes where they're urinating with a prosthetic penis, which is what happened in this film as well.
God,
which now I can't.
Jesus Christ on a cross. Jesus Christ on a cross bleeding, as my mother would say.
And really, I remember personally, even at the time, thinking how brave she was for doing this. And, you know, a woman an actress who would, you know, sort of downplay her femininity and all this stuff. Now I'm just like, why?
That's called internalized homophobia, is what you were feeling.
Yes. It really is, though. Institutional.
Yeah.
But heralded, I don't remember honestly having a single conversation with a queer person about like, how dare she? The tone was definitely, oh, there's a trans role. Like it was almost like the concern was trans people's stories are being told and we didn't really care about whether or not a trans person was playing that role. But now it's very what the fuck.
It's very different. Well, and also today, it's like, again, that was 20 years ago, everything that I watched. I've recently had to rewatch the show Smash for a podcast. Do you remember this show? And when I tell you, just the clothing alone is the most triggering thing you've ever seen in your entire life. Like, and that's again, like only like 12 years old, let alone like back in 2005, whenever Transamerica came out. Like I was triggered in ways that I never thought that I could be, because just from their clothing.
Well, you have to say goodbye to so many. Like, I mean, when I tell you that the movie Soap Dish until recently was one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time. And because it ends with someone being revealed in a mocking way that she's trans and she runs out of the room screaming because they produce her high school yearbook. It's like, no,
well, that's like,
I can't watch this anymore
if
now
you watch,
because of that.
If you watch that documentary Disclosure that came out a couple years ago, they're like, I'm rewatching my favorite movie from childhood, Ace Ventura. And like, that's the climax of the film. It's like so devastating, but you're like, oh my God, like that was like completely funny and normal that we
all screamed and laughed.
Yeah.
And now it's
horrible.
Like,
it's
horrible. Think to go back to Transamerica, when that had come out, I mean,
thank you, by the way,
for
getting us back on track.
I'm here to help. Guilty,
fix us.
Guilty. I went to see it in theaters, and Guilty. I also bought it on DVD after, and I think there was just this wow, look at what is in the movie theater.
Yeah,
at that time, to see those voices being told, and
it was representation.
Yeah,
like it was representation to us at that time, even though it was not what we
2005.
Okay, so
we're right after Desperate Housewives started. Actually,
I had been out for a year at that point, so I was discovering myself, and to see that so public was a beautiful thing. And then as years go on, realizing that was wrong. They shouldn't have done that.
A definite stepping stone. They shouldn't have done it. I mean, you needed that to get where we are, and you don't want to downplay that, but it's still cringy to look back on for sure.
Yeah.
And like surprising that like ABC let her do that movie. Do you know what I mean? Like the American Broadcasting Corporation was like, okay, sure. She's on the biggest TV show. Like it is, when you think about it, it is shocking.
Yeah.
Is that bitch from Full House part of that broadcasting network?
Which one?
We will get to, by the way, since they are inextricably linked, as I like to say.
That one, Candace, what's her name?
CCB.
Oh, CCB, as we call her.
We're big non-fans of her around here.
We wrecked her.
Full.
But Transamerica launched Felicity. Like after Transamerica, it was not, no one was questioning why she was the one winning all the awards, because it sort of made her the serious actress of the four, because she won the Golden Globe. She was nominated for SAG Award. She was nominated for Best Actress at the Academy Awards, losing to Reese Witherspoon for Walk the Line.
For Legally Blonde?
I mean,
for Legally Blonde 2. Yeah, like Red, White, and Blonde or whatever it was.
Until I'm in a box, I will just say I don't know why Reese Witherspoon was even nominated for that. Like she did a decent job, but it just was not Oscar bait for me at all. Like truly Felicity Huffman should have won. I guess it's kind of good that she didn't at this point. It's so weird. She should have won for Legally Blonde. It's a superior film.
Do we know if Felicity has commented on this at all?
I don't know. You know, I was thinking about that earlier, though. It's funny you bring it up, because I think at the time when it would have been appropriate for her to, she got involved in some other problems. But you know what I mean? It's like, because it really was like 2019 was when the college scandal happened.
Because when did that that was 2019, right?
Yeah.
Well, before we get there, because that's where we're going to then spend the rest of our time, are we not? Like, when does she marry, what's his name?
In the late 90s.
So they've been married. So as she's on Desperate Housewives, she's married to Hugh. What's his name?
No, William H. Macy.
William H. Macy. Who's Hugh? What am I saying?
I don't
William
know.
H. Macy.
Was that his name on Shameless?
That's his middle name, H.
It's Hugh. Oh my God, you're right. It probably is.
Oh my God, it probably, if that's why you're thinking it, it probably is.
Well, I'm psychic. Okay. Anyway. Oh yeah, because then Desperate Housewives, she's bringing in the bacon. Then he's then on Shameless after Desperate Housewives is over.
Right. He was nominated and to me stole the movie in Fargo. I mean, Frances McDormand was great, but he was also great in Fargo. So we knew who he was. And like he would show up with Felicity to the Emmys and we'd be like, oh shit, that's her husband's the guy from Fargo. We know who he is. And then she just became the actress. And I guess they'd been together for a long time before they got married in the late 90s. And they were, theater queens. They're both from the legitimate stage.
Then we keep going on with our lives. After Desperate Housewives is over, she doesn't really do much like that. Like she doesn't have like a Nurse Jackie turn.
Not really. She tried though. I mean, there was, and I didn't watch it, but she was on this anthology show, American Crime. And she played like a morally bankrupt, I believe, attorney on the show. It was an anthology series, but I think her character was the same every year. And she got some attention for it. I never watched it. I'm not sure if Ryan Murphy had anything to do with it. Anytime
did you say morally bankrupt?
Yes, yes.
Miss Moço is like, oh.
Oh, so she was just like playing her real life self.
Yeah.
It was a documentary.
It was a documentary. It was a film adaptation of herself.
Slam. Now she's getting, we're in the slam portion of our broadcast now.
Oh, God.
Poor Felicity.
Did you say morally bankrupt?
I sure did.
And then, the reason that she's brought up every single episode of this podcast, the college admissions scandal goes buck wild.
Which apparently it's known colloquially as the Varsity Blues scandal, which I did not know.
Yeah, it was called Operation Varsity Blues by the FBI.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Yeah, which is hilarious. I love how fucking petty and cunty they are. They're always like putting some like the meanest name they could find on like someone's like a thing that's bringing down all these celebrities. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
you Americans are wild.
Yeah, well, dear God.
We love a nickname. We love an acronym. Nickname. We love anything like that.
And basically, 2 celebrities rise to the top. And one of them is Felicity Huffman, who is found guilty of a very lesser version of Aunt Becky, Lori Loughlin, heir to the, married to Massimo as Massimo in Target, like billionaire fame. And
I didn't know that.
Felicity like catches.
Yes, he's a big, they're loaded.
Yeah.
Like,
Lori Loughlin is like not the breadwinner of her relationship.
Yeah.
Like at all. And so Felicity is found guilty of like what? Just like one little scandal part. Whereas like Lori.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Hold on. Didn't Felicity at least like admit to her wrongdoings?
Yes. So that's the thing.
Yep.
They both get like destroyed in the press. We all remember. No one listening to this podcast doesn't know that this happened. There's no way. And like, I think Felicity paid $50,000 to get like fake rowing photos or whatever it was.
Actually, $15,000. It was a donation, really? Ostensibly to a charitable contribution. I'm reading directly from Wikipedia, by the way. That was, in fact, payment to someone who posed as her daughter Sophia to take the SAT.
Incredible. P.S. Incredible. Mm-hmm. Never forget.
Honestly,
can I get that job?
It's a shame she didn't get away with it, honestly. It's one of those things where you're like, you know what? If I'm rich, I'm going to try to do that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never passed too much judgment on her. Of course, it's terrible and morally bankrupt, but sometimes you got to jump ahead a few spaces.
No, but we didn't pass as much judgment on her because when it's found out, she gets a text message from that guy. I think his name was like Larry something. And he's like, hey, I think that they're on to us. Like the ringleader of the whole thing. And
what was her response, Chris?
Felicity texts back, Ruh Roh. And
that's the day Chris DeRosa was born, basically. The version of Chris whom you all know was born with that text.
It's the best thing in the entire world.
So not the funny thing, but Lori Loughlin fought this for, she may still be fighting it for all I know. But the U.S. Attorney's Office made the announcement of this scandal on March 12th of that year. And just 2 short months later, Felicity pled guilty to what's called honest services fraud. And then in September of that year, she was sentenced to 14 days in jail, 1 year of supervised release, and fined $30,000 in order to do 250 hours of community service. But the reason that she is so mildly unscathed by it is because she just copped to it, which
she was
everyone...
guilty as charged, she said.
Which you don't see a famous person doing. You don't see someone with the means to commit this crime not also using those means to say, I didn't do it. And she was
I'm being framed. Because Lori Loughlin was like, Lori Loughlin was like walking up in the court smiling away, having the best time of her life, being like, we're fighting the charges. I am not guilty. We didn't do this. They're like, we've caught you red-handed. Like, this is the FBI. Like, this isn't like a he said, she said. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe Felicity was just morally glass half full.
I agree with you, though.
Correct.
I see her. I think you're absolutely right. I see her sitting down at the kitchen table with William H. Macy, these 2 very corn-fed looking motherfuckers. And they're just like, well, we tried it. We failed. Let's just see how little we have to do and then do it. I'm sure that, when you're a husband to somebody and your wife is going to have to go to jail for something, I'm sure he felt like absolute shit.
Yeah.
But She only served 14 days. We got the photo of her in the jumpsuit. It'll be on her tombstone, but she copped to it. But what's most important about Felicity Huffman pleading guilty is that I don't know the names of Felicity Huffman's children.
No.
They were not dragged through the mud for any reason. It was clearly mom's fault, and mom served time for it. Lori Loughlin waited years, if she's even admitted guilt yet. It took such a long time, and during that time, Olivia Jade was crucified. Like anyone and everybody. She should have just done the same thing.
Well, that was the thing, is like we forgot. Felicity's lucky because we like forgot about her because we were like railing against Lori Loughlin and Olivia Jade. And again, Lori Loughlin's charge was like exponentially worse than, it was like $500,000 that she paid. It was like a humongous amount of money. God. Because they're like filthy, dirty, filthy rich. Like, and then for her to then in our faces, as we know she's guilty as sin, is like, not guilty, couldn't be less guilty if I tried. Like,
don't even give a shit.
Like, doesn't even care. We were like, you're going down, lady. Whereas,
that
you know what
privilege
I mean?
is disgusting.
Yeah.
And that really is the difference too, because it reeked from her and it somehow didn't reek from Felicity Huffman. You know what I mean? She was just like, people who have money think they can cut the line. It's sort of endemic in being wealthy in the United States. She tried it and she failed and she served the time. But Lori Loughlin was like, absolutely not. I don't care if you tie my children to a cross and light them on fire. I will not admit guilt. Period.
And even like her outfits, like she wore like a bright yellow pantsuit to like her like arraignment. And they were like, meanwhile, Hassan would always say like, they're going to throw her in the slammer. Like he kept saying like, she's going down. Like every day we were like, they're going to throw the book at this woman. Like,
and sometimes that works for people. Yeah. You know, sometimes if they fly in the face of it, like if Nene Leakes did something like that, we'd be snapping and be like, you go girl, tell them to fuck themselves.
Yeah, like they don't even get you. Yeah.
You know, but there's something
Naomi
about
Campbell.
Lori Loughlin doing it unironically. Exactly. Like we know Naomi Campbell's physically assaulted people and we say, let her do it. Just let her do it.
We were like, this isn't an inconvenience for you, Naomi, to be at this court date where you're being charged with a crime. And like,
yeah. Like there was no irony when Lori Loughlin did it. But how come we don't? Is she on our unfixables list, or but
she might need to be because there's no coming back from this.
She had popped up on my TikTok, I think, with Uncle Jesse, and they did like a TikTok together, and I was like, oh, what is she doing?
I think, was it around when he released his book last year? Maybe they just started getting chummy, and he was using her to help him promote the book. Yeah, but she is now...
It's the last person on that show that you should be chumming up with.
No
I would quicker go to that Candace bitch.
Yeah.
At least she's got Jesus on her side.
Yeah, really. She has the Lord on her side.
So it has been announced that Lori Loughlin, as we move further away from poor Felicity Huffman, it has been announced that Lori Loughlin, maybe this is Felicity Huffman's problem. Maybe she's not holding her interest.
It is. She's always under the radar. Anyway.
Lori Loughlin is among the cast who will be starring in On Call, the first scripted streaming series from Dick Wolf for Prime Video, Amazon Prime. And she's playing a cop.
No, thank you.
I mean, her playing a cop after resisting arrest for so many years is quite rich. But welcome to the force, Lori Loughlin.
Oh, and okay, the other thing about Felicity is that as the college admissions Varsity Blues scandal is breaking, she is playing the prosecutor in this Netflix movie or series called When They See Us, which is about the Central Park Five, and about how they finally get exonerated for the crimes, and like about how their life. It's like, and like despite her being in it and like kind of souring it, like very, very good job from everyone in it, and it like chronicles all of their lives afterwards, and like how them being wrongly accused has like completely affected their lives for the rest of their lives, and it was like really well done, like really good, like a lot of like award nods to it. And like, I remember Oprah even did a special and was like, I'm going to do this big moderated thing where I'm going to bring everyone out. And like every single person that's in the movie, minus Felicity Huffman, is invited to this thing.
No.
So they like, it's like so blatantly obvious that she's not included in it because there's like 75 people on the stage and not her.
God, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So then it's like, oh, this is supposed to be like some big role for her. You know what I mean? This is supposed to be some big like comeback role for her. And then she like can't even do any of the press because she's like facing charges.
Well, maybe going through all that's what made her What did he say?
He said, bye, pumpkin.
Maybe playing that role is what made her know, like, I have to admit this. Maybe it affected her life that badly, where she was like, you know what? Fuck that.
That's a really good point.
The Central Park Five might have made her into an actual martyr. So what I'm seeing here for her recently is guest spots on a television show called Accused and on the well-known Criminal Minds.
Not Accused.
And Criminal Minds. That's what she's. These are the two things she's been on this show.
We are remiss to not bring up the fact that she's in Georgia Rule with Lindsay Lohan and Jane Fonda. And she's the mom, right? And Jane Fonda's the grandma, and then Lindsay's the daughter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a big movie. Like, regardless, even if like it wasn't that good, like it was big because that was supposed to be like Lindsay's big comeback, and then she like wouldn't show up to set. Like she was in the press a lot for that.
I bet you as Felicity, though, something, you know what, girl, you don't have to show up. Just pay them some money.
You're a rich white lady. Just stay home and pay someone to come for you.
Just have a body double show up to your scenes. Just have someone else show up. Like, it's fine, you know?
And so here we are, basically. A lauded actress, a recognizable actress, goes to jail for
14 days.
I mean, I'm still utterly shocked that this was like a sting operation and that the federal government was even involved in this, to be honest with you. And I even thought that at the time, and this is not, they are actual crimes. It is actually wrong to do what they did because everyone's got to have an equal playing field when it comes to higher education. But I'm like, aren't there like actual terror crimes happening that you could be using these resources for?
I think that the thing about it, we are focusing on like Felicity Huffman and Lori Loughlin of it, but I think the more of what it actually is that like these schools are accepting bribes, which is extremely
copy that.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, like we are like, yes, we're talking about like Aunt Becky and one of the Desperate Housewives, but like the point, like all these coaches knew that it was happening. All of these like admissions directors knew that it was happening. Like it was a much bigger takedown than just two celebrities.
Mm. Yeah. I guess I'm just that elderly and jaded where I'm like, that system of life is never going to go. It's just never going to go away. Like people who have money will always try to
pay their way through
up top. And people who need money will always accept it from people who are willing to give the money if they just sort of look the other way. I mean, that's the real oldest profession, you know? So I guess
vicious cycle.
There is no redistribution of wealth. Oh, wow. That's the most crossfire we've ever been on this show. It's that we should submit that last 30 seconds for a Peabody, Chris. Don't you think?
Yeah.
How did you turn Felicity Huffman into an indictment of capitalism? I think that's something that we should be highlighting.
Don't forget my credit. Don't forget my credit.
Because of you. Don't get me. You're accepting the award.
This is it. I will be the face of it since I'm the only one who can show up to this podcast looking decent.
Oh, God.
In full drag, obviously. Chris and I will just be in black t-shirts.
Yes. Yeah.
Chris, are we at the arena?
I think we are.
I might need a 30-second, which we will cut out for the listeners, but I need to pray on this for a minute.
I might need to pray on this.
I'm not 100% sure, only because it seems like she's not making the effort. Like, no. I feel like if Lori Loughlin is getting hired and we're doing press releases, where the fuck is Felicity Huffman? Maybe she's just shied away from it all. Maybe she's jaded herself. Who knows?
Yeah.
I feel like she feels actual shame about this is the energy that I get from her. Like,
which
I feel like
which she should be the least shamed of the two of them. Do you know what I mean?
We're comparing the two, right?
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, if Felicity Huffman's not a part of this, Lori Loughlin, we might have a different opinion of her because she's the devil shoulder and Felicity Huffman's the angel shoulder. Like now we're looking at Lori Loughlin and we're like, you bitch. You rich white lady. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Oh, fabulous. I'm ready to hear because
she's got a heart out.
Now, actually, I wish I dressed up as Lynette Scavo for this podcast to really. I loved that show so much, and when all this drama happened, she was a dumpster fire. Do I want to see her do better things? I don't know. Do I want to see her burn still? I'm still not sure. So I really need you two to
All right.
to sway me.
I'm
this
ready.
is
I have
on
mine.
election day of all as well. Like
Truly,
we've got
truly.
a criminal
We have-
and we've got a mother. So
This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids instantly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Sign up for Greenlight today at greenlight.com/Wondery. That's greenlight.com/Wondery.
Think scaling AI is hard? Think again. With Watson X, you can deploy AI across any environment. Above the clouds, helping pilots navigate flights, and on lots of clouds, helping employees automate tasks. On-prem, so designers can access proprietary data, and on the edge, so remote bank tellers can assist customers. Watson X works anywhere, so you can scale AI everywhere. Learn more at ibm.com/WatsonX. IBM. Let's create.
Okay. Felicity, Kendall, JFK, Huffman. Zodiac. This is the Zodiac speaking.
The Zodiac Killer, yeah.
The Zodiac Killer. First and foremost, and this is part of the fix, but it's not. Am I pandering to you, Miss Moço? 100%. But I think this goes for both of us. Like, we just need like a 20-year retrospective, like 3-part special of Desperate Housewives. Is that not true? On ABC of like, this show is everything in the world. Like, we just do that. That's not even part of it. But why is that not happening?
okay, you win.
This is more call to action of just like, I just feel like we need the 4 of them sitting in a room, and then Nicolette Sheridan comes in like halfway through like a Housewives reunion.
Says
and,
I'm not dead. Okay.
Talking about like the show.
Oh,
and, like,
in real life, not an update of the actual series.
No. Just
the
simply
actresses
like
in the room.
them looking back on the show and like the cultural.
Oh my God.
significance.
You know, they hate, what's her name? Susan Meyer.
Terry
Hatcher.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they did not get along. Apparently,
Speaking
Terry
of,
showed up
what is
to a cover of a Vanity Fair or something, and she wanted to wear the red bathing suit and wouldn't let anyone else wear it, and then they all wore.
Oh.
Yeah, there's drama down that road too.
Oh, well, maybe that can't happen then. But
Maybe we'll
okay,
fix Terry
regardless,
Hatcher.
moving right along. I want Felicity Huffman to be the star for once. She's always in the background. She's always in, other than Transamerica, she's like the 4th. Again, we said she was the Charlotte. We said she's the 4th of the 4, the 4 of 4, not a 1 of 4, not even the 3 of 4. She's the 4 of 4. She's like in the background of this movie and then with Oprah and doesn't even get to like go on the stage. She's overshadowed in her criminality. In not one place in her life is she number 1. She's less famous than her husband. All the above. I want her.
She's going to take her own line with you. Felicity, turn this off if you're driving.
I want her to become an action star. I want a movie where she is like a sleeper agent, or like she's a mom that turns into like she basically is her character on Desperate Housewives, but then turns into a vigilante that's like recruited by the FBI. Something like absolutely bananas ridiculous where she becomes an action star, and she is the face of the movie. Not her and 3 up, not Ocean's 9, not like Ensemble. Like, it is Felicity Huffman is : whatever the fuck the name of the movie is.
Mm-hmm.
Remember like Atomic Blonde? Remember, wasn't that that
Or
Charlize
like
Theron?
Meryl Streep in The River Wild, something like that.
Sure. Yes. Like, not August Osage County where there's 9 of them and they're all doing any of these that we love. Like, not First Wives Club. I'm talking like just her and a gun.
Salt.
And
Angelina Jolie in Salt.
Yes, Salt.
Correct. Exactly that. It could be called Pepper if we wanted to take it. Felicity Huffman is Pepper. Okay. Like, that is the movie I want. Okay. And I want to see her do her own stunts. Like, I want to see, and I want like it to just be like a great action movie. It could be even just for Netflix. Like it doesn't even need to have like
I feel like calling it pepper is like racially coded. I think you need to call it like paprika or
sugar.
No, that's sugar. Worse. Yes, sugar. Sugar.
Or flour.
Flour. Yeah.
So like
she's cooking the books because she's cooking the books. I need like that. Her version of salt is what I need. And just like, and again, there's no reason for it. Does this movie need to be made? Absolutely not. Is it culturally as significant as Transamerica? Absolutely not. Is it a movie that I'm going to watch while I'm drinking to laugh at her being an action star? Yes. And she needs to step into the spotlight, and that's my pitch.
I agree with a lot of what I love your pitch. And I agree with a lot of what you're saying as far as like she needs to be a star and all this stuff. What I think she needs to do is to find a way to do that while also doing something she loves, which is the stage. Obviously, like that's how she started. So what I'm thinking is something as high profile as she could possibly get on stage. And I think that in 8 or 9 months, when Audra McDonald is done with Gypsy, I think Felicity Huffman needs to step into that role, heralded as like, you know, they're both, you know, one was morally bankrupt in real life, the other one questionable on stage. Here's Felicity. Like, I think that, I don't know if she can sing. I know she can act. I don't think people would peg her for this role, but I bet she's got it in her.
God
Huffman is Rose in the Gypsy revival. Basically, we're putting Felicity Huffman in the Lea Michele seat from Funny Girl, where she's not going to originate the role, but she's going to keep it out there for another year because people are going to be like, this I have to see.
But people will also be pissed that she's in it, but then still go and see it because it's incredible.
Yes, which is what we did. Yeah,
absolutely. And want to hate it, but can't because she's going to be so good.
Talented.
Yeah. And that's my pitch.
Oh, wow. Okay, so I'm not going to lie. Dominick, when you started yours, I was like, oh, absolutely not. This is not the one for me. And then you brought up Lea Michele, and I was like, you have something here.
The Lea Michele factor is always,
it's always in the background.
It's always a gay hook. Yeah.
Also, Chris, I did throw you the bone of Salt. And I am a little biased because I wanted a sequel to Salt.
Where she actually becomes like an agent. Yeah.
I thought it was so good, but your pitch was still along the lines, even if I didn't throw Salt out there. I still think we'd be on that action star thing where Felicity is butch enough to give us all of that. Honestly, I was leaning right here, and now I'm 49 and 49.
What if I whipped out a boob?
How dare you do that to us today?
What if I present one nipple here? I have another that will help. In the Felicity Huffman school of bribery to get things, here's my tit, Miss Moço.
Oh, shit. If only I had Venmo in Canada.
Wait, is there no Venmo in Canada?
There's no Venmo.
Is that true?
No, you have to use PayPal.
What? I have learned something today. Interesting.
And the people have learned a lot today who are listening.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We've given them many morsels.
How quick do you need me to make this answer? Oh my God.
You have 10 seconds.
Okay, lip sync for your life immediately.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. Okay. I really love this idea of seeing her in an action movie. I think she has that, like, she's already done Lynette, that soccer mom, and then that, like, no one's expecting it. But then what's even more unexpected is seeing her on the stage in this revival, singing standing O's at the end of the night. She wins the hearts of America. And
bathed in blood. Yeah, bathed in blood.
Everyone still hates her. Shit. I have to go with my heart and my gut. Whitney Rose, where are you? I need some of your healing energy. I have to go with Chris's. I need her in an action movie.
Oh, I thought I was losing. I thought I was losing. Dominick, how dare you use Gypsy against me, by the way.
Well, you deserved it, just like she did those 14 days. Now you have to be quiet for 14 days.
I'm not going to lie. I have no hate for her. She served her time.
No, not at all. She's sort of borderline for us. Like sometimes people need fixing and other times people just need a boost. And she's right on the 50-yard line with it.
She needs a boost. Like that's what she needs. Like if fucking Aunt Becky is going to be in a Prime show, she can be in a movie.
Listen, she just needs a new generation to not know her past and lift her up.
Right.
She should be in a kid's show. She should be the mom of like the new Hey Arnold, or something. Yeah.
Like as much as we're laughing about Felicity playing all of these like crime fighter roles, Lori Loughlin's got a lot of nerve playing a cop on a Dick Wolf. And the other thing is Lori Loughlin also doesn't need to work a day
in her life.
She just does not. Her husband's literally worth like $500 million.
Yes.
It gives me narcissist. It gives me, I want to throw this in your face.
Yes.
The whole trial, she would walk in like being like, not guilty today, bitches. Like, and she'd be all dressed up and like obviously looking amazing. She's gorgeous, like looking amazing. And I was like, no, you need to, like, your lawyer's supposed to give you like a sweater that makes you look like you were like, a victim. You know what I mean? Like she was like, couldn't look better. Was like, she was like just brushing it off. And it was
with
like
that 90s side part, that floppy side part where she's got to tilt her head to hold it up. She's still rocking that Aunt Becky hairstyle. She didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Honorable mention also on the list of the potentials that we were going to talk about. Anna Delvey showing up in court. It's
incredible. Icon.
Just head to toe.
And her final thing that she said to the court was, I never told anyone I was a good person.
Who, Felicity or Lori said that? No, Anna said that.
Anna Delvey.
Oh my God.
Never forget when she was in the one interview. I can't remember who was interviewing her, but they're like, they said that it was like 60 Minutes or something. And they were like, they said that you would like bandy about $100 bills everywhere. And she goes, well, someone's really excited about $100. That says more about them than about me. Like, blam, like perfect.
If I was going to make it to the Snatch Game episode of my season of Drag Race, she was my character. I was going
Perfect.
Oh my God.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have a backup?
Is she here? Is she here?
My backup was Fran Drescher.
Amazing.
And then I had to have a third, and people told me I looked like Meryl Streep. So I was like, Meryl Streep. I have nothing. But
I could see that, though.
You actually do look like Meryl Streep.
You do have similar features. That's true.
She would be a good one to do, too.
I just don't know how to make her funny.
Do you have Anna at the ready for us or no?
I do not have time for this. I do not have time for you. Oh, Mr. Sheffield. There you go.
My God.
Are you about to drift into Meryl or are you still
Meryl would be like, well, like, what does she even do?
If I was Meryl, I would just shut this laptop and know that I won and be on with my day.
Yeah.
That's all. That's
like
all.
reign supreme. God. Miss Moço.
This has been such a thrill and a pleasure. This has been so much fun. Thank you for coming on Fixing Famous People.
Oh my God. Thank you for having me. It's just wild how life just brings you to different people at any given point, and then next thing you know, you end up on their podcast. Just
period.
Right?
Period.
This is it.
And please, everyone that's either in Toronto, near Toronto, or like is visiting Toronto, when I tell you we laughed for 3 hours straight? Like I did.
Oh my God, it's not that long, bitch. An hour and a half.
No, but it was like, it felt like 3 hours of laughing, which was amazing. Like it was like truly, we laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed. And like there wasn't 2 sentences that didn't go by where I wasn't like doubled over and laughing.
And look how that goes. See,
for real.
Pay attention to your drag queens. Chris went from customer to colleague in just a moment's notice. Now here we all are together broadcasting.
Oh, just unbelievable. Thank you for having me here. It was so much fun.
Where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Miss Moço, MISSMOCO. The C is silent. It's Portuguese. It translates to Miss Boy.
Oh, really? That's hilarious.
And then TikTok, hey, Miss Moço. You can find me in Toronto every Saturday at the Drake Hotel for the iconic drag brunch. I'm the brunch queen of Canada. It's the only one you need to come to. That's it.
Wonderful.
It was incredible. And the Drake Hotel itself was gorgeous. It was a great place. It was great. Everyone was fun. We had a fun group. It was great. Dominick, where can people find you?
My website is domandterry.com, or you can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Dominick Pupa. At both places, you'll find links to tickets to my holiday tour, which begins the week after next on December 1st at Oasis in San Francisco. Please come. It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of really fucked up stuff happened this year, as you've heard on this podcast, and we're going to have fun talking about it. Christopher, Michael DeRosa, where can the listeners of this podcast find you on the World Wide Web?
You can find me at the Chris DeRosa. You can find the show at Fixing Famous People, and you can find the Patreon at patreon.com/Fixing Famous People. Again, a la carte episodes are out almost every week. $5 tier. It gets you in the door and gets you some bonus content. I know you guys have been begging for it, and everyone's been loving it so far. All right, that's it. I wish you both well. And as always, where's Shelly? Goodbye.